Hi folks, welcome one last time to the 8 Regents tournament. So one more game remaining. As you can see, Stelios is going to play Gabryel, and this match already decided. Baratheon leads 5-1, and the players have started a bit early, so have to join the game quickly. Unfortunately, that messes my plans up a bit. I was going to stream this, but just have to record it now. And it's the last two remaining agendas, so Gabryel playing Knights of the Hollow Hill and Stelios playing Conclave. And actually, interesting situation, we kind of expected Knights of the Hollow Hill this morning because Bookerman played it just on the Iron Throne so many times in the last few days, but it was a real surprise. Luckily our summer deck was still strong enough, but now obviously we are left with Conclave against this, and Conclave is very resilient and reliable, so it's not like this is not a matchup we could win anyway, although things going downhill now with this development. So we have military claim taking a dupe and then pinch of powder. And now Marvin is exposed, so I assume he will be marched. Some unique stuff, and Princess Attendant suggests lords and ladies. Immediately, obviously, when I see the agenda, I think resets, marched, stranger, Morgulis, maybe Varys. But with this kind of board, maybe marched is not the plan. Throne on the other side, no chamber, and we have Bravos. So if you get the Meisters from a few different factions, that can gain some decent gold. And let's see. So March would be pretty devastating here. Marvin basically gives you a hand of 15 cards, 8 under the Conclave at the moment. Yeah, and looks like it's a tough choice. Maybe he's thinking what to do if Marvin is gone. Okay. He was expecting marched, I think. Was he actually... how does this work out with... Yeah, so he has to kneel himself to cancel the plot, so would have cancelled marched. But it's the mother instead to draw cards. And it should draw cards because Stelios needs to marshal some stuff. Milk on Anders, and the dupe is back. And Elena can surely find a 2-coster, and she does. Now Bravos can also be used to gain 1 gold or 2 gold at the moment. Really nice location. I played it for the one and only time when I played Mamer's Farce. I think it was some weird faction, maybe it was Targaryen, and I had a 5 gold Bravos at one point, or maybe it was 4, which is some pretty crazy economy. So more and more cancelling Great Hall. Make sure to limit some of the stuff that can come out, but and the mother in combination with the agenda still puts out a lot of stuff. Pinch is back in shadows, presumably. And it doesn't look like you can defend everything. And this annoying little character, Spotted Silva. When she attacks, better not defend her at all. Otherwise she just returns herself and the defender back to hand. Yeah, so the situation in the tournament obviously now is decided. Wasn't this morning, but after Baratheon's win and then Stark actually lost both games this morning. It's clear that Baratheon can be caught and has won the 8 Regents now. And Stelios, very strong player, but in this tournament he got some of these games that were played last in a round, so had to play Banner of the Watch one time and Kingdom of Shadows. And this, we were pretty sure that this game actually was going to be for the title and the most important one. But now, again, no pressure on this one. Yeah, I'm sure he isn't too disappointed about that. What to do with military? Do you take the dupe or do you leave it because of that pinched and other potential removal? Yeah, using Marvin, so that's 2 gone. Can survive another one. However, he isn't really the character to be returning to hand, because when he re-enters, he just puts another 2 cards under the Conclave. So I guess the thing to do really is to kill him if you can. And can't defend Spotted Silva, which means the power is growing here. With Throne and Chamber, that's not an issue. However, no Chamber at the moment. This one can at least be defended. And Political Disaster is obviously a favorite of Knights of the Hollow Hill. But Baratheon is well prepared for this here, so Throne is duped. One of the locations can gain 2 gold, and there is the Crazy Bravos that can gain 2 or 3. Fortunately out with Mist, so the next one that comes might do damage. Although again, do you play Morghulis in a deck that plays Princess Attendants and presumably Lords and Ladies? We have Myrcella here, she's duped, nothing bigger so far. Alright, we have Parley. That's going to call either military because there are no icons, or one of the pinch challenges. And we have Air on the other side to trade Edric or Silva for something bigger. Melario. Yeah, and at least Ariane and Doran should be in the deck, it seems. And Parley calls military. Let's see what Murmur does this time. Does he cancel it? There's so much gold. He does cancel it. But even a 7 coster here can still come in. With gold to spare, and here is one of the more annoying ones. Faced her in my game yesterday. And she of course returns characters in the challenges phase back to hand. They don't need to be participating. You can just target anything. Although her strength is 5 at the moment, so yesterday I was facing Cordoran and Greenblood in play, and her strength was beyond anything I could ever put out. So in this case, if for instance Robert is played now, she can't quite get him without any strength increase. There he is. But Pinch can get him. That's why I was thinking maybe you call in Trick for Parley. And then Power maybe half a chance of defending. Although against this board, with Ariane returning something and then Pinch returning something else, doesn't look good. Question is, can the 8 strength from the throne at least win dominance? Because that stalls it quite well with the chamber then. Here comes the win by 5. Pinching Robert and missing him. Some people believe that the last card that enters the hand in this way is always the one discarded for intrigue claim, and it does seem like it happens a lot of the time, to be fair. But not on this occasion. And I think the best Stelios can do is just to oppose here. Won't be able to win the power back. And this 10-0 turns into 9-2 with the chamber. Now any chance of a Dohaeris, that would be alright, although even better if Ariane was actually in play when that happened, but don't see that happening. Marvin back to hand, and Econ is alright, so he's coming back and triggering. Supporting the Fate against first snow means no ambush, but I don't see any ambush anyway. And now all of these characters going back, and even if you see Marvin and Robert again, those removal effects will hurt. Actually, yeah, Stelios has to go first here, unfortunately, so that means Pinch will be coming in marshalling on Robert. Otherwise, supporting the Fate would have blocked it, at least. Maybe get a Renly, that would help. Marvin is back. And the dupe, okay. It's not horrible. If he survives this round, I think Mad King's Command, with all of those cards going back to hand, could be a really nice plot. More and more still going to be used, even though he is one of the few characters that does survive for snow now. And no gold left for the pinch. But look at that board, still 4 characters that survive. And if Ariane returns Marvin, it's trouble. Okay. That makes sense. It wins unless you use 3 characters. Because I think Gabryel just sequences his challenges in a way to do damage anyway. And get some unopposed, so now Ariane wins on defense, gets her insight, and she will return, I think. Does she return more and more at this point? Because then, of course, you need to kill one of the more impactful characters. Now she returns Marvin. He'll trigger yet again. And that's not so bad now. Just killing off more and more. Throne in play. Stops the chamber, stops encampment from standing. Sad day. Score would have looked quite decent without that. Knights of the Hollow Hill does occasionally play the Iron Throne anyway, but especially against Baratheon, why wouldn't you? Just play it and mess up their plan. If it's a heavy reset deck, that's you can usually expect with this agenda, then for sure Baratheon will try to get Throne in Chamber. That's a way to fight against it. Decent reserve here for Stelios, allows him to keep everything basically. Alright. Loan from the Iron Bank against political disaster. Decent. So you lose the location that's already knelt, and I guess you keep Browse and the chamber. Hoping that you do start to win dominance again, even against the throne. Some red priests would be nice to take that Ariane and pinch from hand, but I don't think it's a question whether he plays them, because you do need the Maesters, of course. Must include at least 12, and you do want a few of them anyway. So deck space for the Barachads limited. Pinch is a tough one to counter. Even Begging Brother, for instance, which solves many problems, doesn't really work because you can just pinch Begging Brother first and then you still get the other annoying triggers. Surprised he's leaving Marvin for last because he does give you some extra cards to look at. For instance, if he has Renly now, that was probably the thing to do instead, and then he brings in one of the smaller Meisters. Okay, and Edric does help in the dominance battle if he stays in play. No magic this time as far as cancelling Great Hall, so the big lady, I think, coming back. But if I calculate correctly, actually you just have enough for her and for pinch and shadows with 1 gold left. If you use Great Hall and the 2 reducers, then not much is really standing here. Just have Rihanna and Anders, so how much damage can you do, especially if Meister Malin also triggers? PP to cancel Great Hall. Now it can be done at all. So Edric comes in instead. Does he still put the pinch in shadows? He plays Venomous Blade. Guess Edric, okay. For the dominance battle, that makes sense. I was thinking maybe Malin will get it. Still a fair fight for dominance though. Doesn't mean that Gabryel will just automatically win it now. And sniping against that Ariane now, come on, hits the Viper. He's slightly less annoying. And is there anything else? Windermere will do power. This makes sense. And then you keep Malin for whatever Edric Dane does, I guess. Good chance that Gabryel wins dominance if you use Robert to defend. And every time a Meister wins, of course, there's some Conclave shenanigans as well. Defends it. Slightly surprising. Well, okay. Stopping Edric in the power challenge before he's taken an icon, I think. It's slightly unusual. Now he can just take another one. Okay, Gendry is easy to lose because of the throne battle. And can't use Anders if you want to tie the dominance, which Gabryel does. And now the rubber trigger. Yeah. No reason to be super optimistic even with that, because we know there's characters still in hand that are extremely annoying. Now the economy, dodgy again, loan reduces it further, and encampment is nailed. Bravo still works, it gets you 3. First snow played, and to Harris now. And then the last plot, maybe Gabryel is stuck with another reset, or maybe it's just you win or you die into a draw plot then. Losing Robert. Guess he wants the 8 cards. Now is there something in hand that can increase the gold you get from Bravos here? There is. Yes, Renly is as good as anything. Brings in Maester Aemon as well. Nice against this particular plot. And this time lacking some gold for that annoying Ariana. She will stay in hand, I'm sure, with 2 reserve for a future use. Getting all the dupes. Very good cards to get with this plot. They don't go to waste. And pinch or not? No. It's worked for him quite well throughout the game. Surprised he isn't using it more aggressively. Yeah, on 10 power, so a real danger of just winning the game here. So I think Stelios might just have to pass and try to defend everything. It's not really possible because of Fowler twins. They will just force Renly to defend something other than military. Yeah, with first action in the challenges phase, maybe saving Renly for a delayed trigger, slightly better. But you're kind of forced to do it anyway before stuff starts happening. Let's see what happens first. I think Fowler Twins forces Renly into intrigue or something. under the unopposed military, and you can win the 2-claim power challenge with Doran against Marvin. It's not quite game winning without something in addition to all of that. I think it will cap Gabryel at something like 13 or 14. Depends on what happens with dominance. Okay, that's slightly unusual, forcing him into a challenge he was going to defend anyway. Thought he would be fire twins would be used to clear up the way for some unopposed. To claim. Now Intimidate, of course, not working because of the milk here. And I'm sure Meister Aemon is not going to be used. You want to defend anything you can here. Or leave him potentially to win dominance if he can. Yep. And good call not to let the chamber trigger. Yeah, time running out, so even if Gabryel somehow gets in trouble now with his last plot, which I don't think he can. Obviously, he's not playing the Harris in this deck and he has so many dupes for Morghulis. Turnaround seems far away, but we saw some dramatic stuff in the game this morning with Powell winning from, I think it was 9-0, and then in 2 rounds he was up to 15 when suddenly his dominant stuff started working. And yeah, I think there was no plot really here that would have helped. So playing You Win or You Die into counting coppers, really nice play. With this agenda especially. Actually, I remember back in the day when it came out, people were saying you play a late You Win or You Die, and then surely you have enough economy to follow it up with counting coppers in the late game. But hasn't always been used like that throughout the game's history. People have just played it for the 2-claim or for closing games in decks that like the tempo plays, like to keep the pressure on. Not in an agenda like this that starts slightly more slowly and then dominates for the rest of the game. Yeah, use plots down to 0 for Cordoran, and Palace overrides it anyway, but I wonder how much strength this would have been. You know, honestly not that much, but you do have the intrigue icons, so you can just attack with everything, and maybe he does win by more than 5. Any magic? Cilicia, I was thinking, possibly could win the game or survive another round, or maybe just saving the kingdom, multiple copies in hand. Certainly has all the cards. He's down to 20, has Marvin with 7 still under the Conclave, and he has Gorman, so gets one of these as well. And if the throne wasn't in play, you can imagine 3 more chamber triggers. That's 10-5 now, with reasonable chance to counter the board. And we have a game. 4 gold carried through to dominance, to challenges, so maybe there is a saving the kingdom. Maybe not, because the Tricon was the first character that would have been dealt with that, I think. Renly is still available, faction card still standing, so there is a... He's set, of course, at strength 3 at the moment. So can bring in a child potentially. Aemon saves himself. He's just going to defend to the best of his ability, I guess, now. And see what happens when he plays another Chouliaras. Ooh, Delena. Okay, can be brought in by Renly. She's not a non-Baratheon character. And now let's see, so Brisera doesn't have renown. This gets him to 14 if it's opposed, and dominance gets him to 15, so I think Renly needs to bring a power icon in. Could have won dominance with by not using Aemon save, killing off Malin, for instance. Ah, no magic, okay. I think even if the Harris is played, let's be honest, we still have 2 cards that were kept from way back when you win or you die, had 2 reserve, of course. And you just play an econ plot and marshal stuff back out. Okay, so luckily this game didn't matter in the end. I'm sure Stelios also wasn't that motivated to really look at his options with this deck the way he would have been if he absolutely had to win. And unfortunately I was hoping to have some company here from the Baratheon team to chat a bit about the tournament, but couldn't stream it live because it started ahead of schedule. But this is not going to be the final video if you're watching this on YouTube on the playlist. So next weekend we'll get some of the team together and chat a bit about this tournament and our experience with some of the Baratheon team, and maybe even stream that live on Twitch. So hopefully you can join us for that one. I won't do any kind of big goodbye here, just to show you. So this match ends 5-2 then, but as I said, Stark, this one was won by Tyrell, so Stark wins 4-3 in the end, and Stark needed to win one more game than Baratheon did in this round to tie the score and force the overtime basically, but they could not quite do it. And okay, this one for sure the teams won't be updated either. So as you can see, with Stark and Baratheon winning and Martell losing, it will end in a 3-way tie between these three teams, and of course they've each won and lost one game within this tie, and so it comes down to overall game wins, and this is where Baratheon is the most successful. The two losses were both 4-3, and there was some heavy wins. We beat Martell 5-2 and Night's Watch 6-1 I think, and Tyrell 5-2, so that's what made the difference in the end. Alright, so as I said, you can join us next weekend. We'll post the exact time on Discord. Should be Friday evening or Saturday evening in Europe, so that our teammates from America and Australia can also join us, and we'll do a little review of this great tournament. So thanks for watching this one and all the other games on this playlist, and see you again sometime. Bye bye.